What if I told you that you can make your gray roots disappear in seconds without coloring your hair at all? So many women over 50 feel embarrassed when those silver strands show up around the hairline, especially when they grow in faster than expected. But the truth is that you can soften, blend, and completely conceal them with simple tricks you can do at home. Stay with me, because the last method is the one women always wish they knew sooner. The first mistake that makes gray coverage look obvious instead of elegant is spraying the product too close to your roots. Many women do this because they want fast results, especially when they suddenly notice gray peeking through around the hairline. The problem is not the spray itself, it is how the spray lands on the hair when it is applied too heavily and too directly. When the product sits thick on the scalp, it creates a dark patchy shadow that looks flat and artificial. This is what many women describe as the helmet effect. Instead of soft coverage, it leaves the impression of painted-on color, which draws even more attention to the gray you were trying to hide. Emotionally, this can make you feel self-conscious, especially in bright light or when someone is standing close. The simple solution is to hold the spray a little further back so the pigment lands lightly and evenly. Think of it as a gentle mist, not a direct target. Light layers always look more natural than one heavy pass. A practical tip is to style your hair first and then spray only the areas that will actually show. This prevents wasted product and keeps your hair feeling soft instead of stiff. If you want a bit more coverage, wait a few seconds, then add a second light layer instead of one thick one. The benefit is instant. Your roots look blended, natural, and youthful, and you avoid the harsh buildup that ages your overall look. And the next common mistake is something women often do without realizing it. The second mistake that makes gray coverage look uneven is using the same product for every part of your head. Many women reach for a spray and apply it everywhere because it feels fast. But sprays and wands serve completely different purposes, and using the wrong one in the wrong place creates a harsh, telltale finish. Sprays are designed for larger areas like your part line or the crown. When used on the delicate hairline, they often splatter, settle too heavily, or stain the skin, which can make the hairline look sharp instead of soft. Wands, on the other hand, are made for precision. They mimic the natural look of fine strands and give you control where spray tends to overwhelm. Emotionally, this matters more than you might think. The hairline is the first place people notice gray, and when the coverage looks smudged or overly dark, it can make you feel older than you really are. A simple switch in technique can bring back a polished, confident look. The solution is clear. Use a spray only for the wider sections that need quick blending. Use a wand for the edges, temples, and baby hairs around your face. This combination creates soft coverage that looks like your natural hair instead of painted color. Here's a practical tip. If you use a spray and want more control, spray a small amount onto a clean spoolie or old mascara wand, then brush it through the tiny hairs along the hairline. This gives you the precision of a wand with the color payoff of a spray. When you pair the right product with the right area, your root coverage becomes seamless and elegant. If you are finding this helpful so far, tap like and subscribe, because it truly supports the channel and helps more women discover these tips. Stay with me, because the final method is the one most women never expect. The third mistake that ages your look is applying root concealer without softening the edges. Even if the color matches perfectly, harsh lines around the hairline can make the coverage look flat and obvious. Many women experience this when they apply the product quickly and assume it will blend on its own. But without a little shaping, the result can appear heavy or too defined. The emotional impact is real. When you can see the exact point where the color begins, it can make you feel like the coverage is calling attention rather than quietly disguising the gray. Instead of feeling refreshed, you may end up feeling more aware of your roots than before. The solution is gentle blending. After applying your spray or wand, take a clean spoolie, a soft brush, or even your fingertips, and lightly sweep through the top layer of hair. You are not removing color, you are simply diffusing it so it melts into your natural shade. A practical tip is to blend in small upward motions rather than downward strokes. Upward blending lifts the roots and creates a soft gradient instead of a blunt edge. You can also blend only the outermost layer so the coverage underneath stays strong while the top looks natural. The benefit of this technique is immediate. Your hairline looks fuller, softer, and more youthful. The color appears to grow from the scalp rather than sitting on top of it. Once you try this, you will never go back to skipping the blending step. And the next mistake is one that almost always leads to that painted scalp look many women want to avoid. The fourth mistake that instantly gives away gray coverage is letting the product touch the scalp. Many women apply sprays or wands directly against the skin because they want complete coverage. The problem is that the scalp absorbs color differently than hair. Even a small amount of pigment on the skin can look like a dark patch that contrasts with the rest of your roots. Emotionally, this is frustrating. Instead of feeling confident, you may feel worried that people will notice the uneven tone, especially outdoors or in bright lighting. What was meant to be a quick fix can end up drawing attention to the exact area you wanted to conceal. The solution is to apply the product close to the root without pressing it into the skin. Think of it as coloring the hair, not the scalp. If you use a wand, brush only the strands, keeping a tiny bit of space between the applicator and the skin. If you use a spray, tilt the nozzle slightly upward so the mist lands on the hair instead of directly on the scalp. A simple practical tip is to place a comb or tissue just above your forehead as a shield if you tend to over-apply in that area. Another option is to spray a little product onto a cotton swab and tap it lightly along the hairline for precise control. The benefit is a clean, natural result that blends perfectly with your overall color. There are no dark spots, no harsh edges, and no obvious signs of product. And the next mistake is a subtle one that often leads to that sticky or stiff texture many women complain about. The fifth mistake that makes gray coverage look and feel unnatural is applying too much product too quickly. Many women want instant full coverage and end up layering spray or wand pigment back to back without giving the hair a moment to settle. The problem is not the product. It is the speed and amount of application. When the hair becomes overloaded, it can feel sticky, stiff, or coated. This texture draws attention every time you touch your hair, and it can make you feel less polished. Some women even avoid brushing or adjusting their style because they worry about smudging the product. The emotional impact is subtle but real. You want to feel confident and carefree, not nervous about your roots. The solution is to build coverage in light layers. Apply once, wait a few seconds, then decide if you need more. Every product looks more natural when it has a moment to dry before the next pass. This small pause keeps the texture soft, flexible, and touchable. A helpful practical tip is to alternate techniques. For example, use a light mist of spray for overall blending. Then add a small amount of wand color only where needed. This reduces buildup while still giving excellent coverage. The benefit is immediate. Your hair feels soft, moves naturally, and looks freshly styled rather than coated. You get elegant coverage without the heavy, sticky feeling that can make you self-conscious throughout the day. Once you master this gentle layering, your root touch-ups will feel effortless. And the next mistake is one that often creates harsh contrast without women realizing why it happens. The sixth mistake that makes gray coverage look obvious is choosing a shade that is too dark. Many women instinctively reach for the deepest brown or black because they want the gray fully hidden. The problem is that darker shades create sharper contrast, and contrast around the hairline tends to emphasize every regrowth line. Emotionally, this can feel discouraging because the darker the color, the quicker the gray seems to reappear. Instead of feeling refreshed, you may feel like you need to touch up, even more often. A shade that is just one level too deep can make the hairline look heavy rather than youthful. The solution is to select a color that matches your natural root instead of the darkest part of your hair. A slightly softer shade blends better and creates a more natural look. It also makes the coverage less noticeable as it begins to fade, giving you a little extra time between touch-ups. A practical tip is to test the shade in natural daylight before committing. Hold the applicator close to your part and compare the tone to your roots rather than the mid-lengths of your hair. If you are between two shades, the lighter option almost always looks more natural. The benefit is incredibly satisfying. Your coverage looks blended, modern, and fresh. Instead of a stark line, you get a soft gradient that lifts your whole look and brightens your features. Once you start using a more natural shade, you will notice how much younger and more effortless your root coverage appears. And the next mistake is something many women struggle with, especially when their gray grows back faster than expected. The seventh mistake many women make is treating gray coverage like a one-time fix instead of part of a simple routine. When gray grows in quickly, especially around the temples, the color can fade unevenly and make the hairline look patchy. The issue is not your hair. It is how often and how lightly the coverage is maintained. Fast regrowth can feel discouraging. Many women feel embarrassed when silver strands appear just days after coloring or touching up. This can create pressure to use more product than necessary or reapply too heavily, which only leads to buildup. Emotionally, it can feel like a cycle you cannot keep up with. The solution is to incorporate small, gentle touch-ups into your weekly routine. Instead of waiting until the gray becomes noticeable, add light coverage 2 or 3 times a week in the areas that show first. This keeps the color looking consistent without heavy application. A helpful practical tip is to apply just a small amount of wand color around the face on the days between spray touch-ups. This maintains the softness of the hairline and reduces the need for big corrections. You can also keep a wand in your handbag for quick blending if you catch a glimpse of stubborn strands in bright lighting. The benefit is simple and empowering. Your roots stay looking fresh for longer, and you no longer feel caught off guard by fast regrowth. Instead of reacting to gray when it becomes visible, you stay a step ahead with minimal effort. Once this becomes part of your routine, the process feels easy and manageable. And the next mistake is something almost every woman does without realizing it makes the coverage look harsher. The 8th mistake that makes gray coverage look harsh is trying to cover absolutely every strand. Many women feel pressure to hide all signs of silver because gray can feel aging, especially around the face. But aiming for complete perfection often leads to heavy application, uneven texture, and a darker finish than you intended. Emotionally, this pressure can be draining. Instead of feeling refreshed, you may feel frustrated when you notice a few stubborn strands that refuse to blend. It can make you feel like you are fighting a losing battle, even though your hair looks beautiful with soft, strategic touch-ups. The solution is to focus on the areas that naturally catch the eye. These are the roots along your part, the front hairline, and the temples. When these key areas are blended, the overall appearance looks polished. The remaining strands that are tucked underneath or hidden in thicker sections do not need full coverage to create a youthful effect. A helpful practical tip is to use a wand for those visible hairs instead of relying entirely on spray. Wands target individual strands more precisely and prevent overloading the surrounding hair. If you notice a tiny silver section after styling, a quick sweep of the wand is often all you need. The benefit is liberating. Your hair looks soft, lifted, and natural, rather than heavy or overdone. By embracing strategic coverage instead of perfection, you get a gorgeous finish that enhances your confidence. And the next mistake is one that often leads to stained hands, messy edges, and frustration with the process. The 9th mistake that makes gray coverage frustrating is forgetting how easily the product can transfer before it fully sets. Many women apply spray or wand color, fix their hair, and immediately touch the hairline or put on a hat. The problem is not the product, it is the timing. When the color has not had a moment to dry, even a gentle touch can leave pigment on your fingers, clothing, or bedding. Emotionally, this can be discouraging because you want your routine to feel simple, clean, and elegant. When a product smudges, it can make you feel like covering your gray is more trouble than it is worth. Some women even avoid touching their hair altogether because they worry about stains. The solution is to build a small drying pause into your routine. After applying your spray or wand, wait a full minute before touching your hair or laying anything against it. This tiny moment allows the product to grip the strands and reduces transfer dramatically. A practical tip is to keep a soft towel around your shoulders while you work. It protects your clothing and gives you a natural reminder not to rush. If you wear hats often, apply coverage before getting dressed so the product has time to settle. For nighttime, lightly brush through the top layer to remove excess pigment and keep your pillow clean. The benefit is instant peace of mind. Your hair stays defined, your fingers stay clean, and you avoid the messy transfer that makes root coverage feel complicated. And the next mistake involves the quickest fix of all, especially for days when you need coverage in just seconds. The 10th mistake many women make is thinking that gray coverage always requires a full routine. On busy mornings or last-minute outings, this belief can leave you feeling flustered when you suddenly notice silver peeking through around your hairline. The truth is that you do not need a full touch-up every time. What you need is a quick, strategic fix. Emotionally, this can be a lifesaver. Instead of feeling stressed or rushed, you can walk out the door feeling polished and confident in just seconds. Knowing you have an instant solution removes the pressure of perfection and keeps your day moving smoothly. The solution is the 2-second touch-up. All you do is lift the very front section of your hair. Apply a small amount of wand color to the most visible strands and let it settle. You are not aiming for full coverage. You are softening the contrast so the gray blends naturally with the rest of your hair. A practical tip is to keep a small wand in your handbag or car. That way, if you catch a glimpse of bright silver in a window reflection or restroom mirror, you can touch up the area immediately. This tiny action keeps your look fresh without relying on sprays or heavy application. The benefit is total convenience. You look groomed and youthful even when you are in a rush. This quick trick becomes a reliable backup for days when you do not have time for anything more. Once you get used to this method, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. And before we wrap up, I have a bonus insight that empowers you no matter how you choose to wear your gray. The bonus insight is something many women need to hear. You do not have to cover your gray forever. The real mistake is believing there is only one right path. Some women feel more confident with fully covered roots, while others feel lighter and freer when they allow some silver to shine through. What matters is that the choice belongs to you, not to pressure from others or fear of judgment. Emotionally, this is powerful. Many women over 50 carry memories of being told to stay youthful, polished, or put together at all times. That pressure can make gray hair feel like a flaw instead of a natural part of aging. But countless women in the comments shared that transitioning to gray brought them peace, compliments, and a renewed sense of identity. Their beauty did not disappear. It simply evolved. The solution is to treat gray coverage as a tool, not a rule. Use it when you want to feel extra polished for an event or when those quick-growing strands make you feel washed out. But honor the days when you feel bold enough to let your natural silver breathe. Both are valid choices, and both can be incredibly flattering. A practical tip is to gradually soften your coverage rather than stopping all at once. Blend the front first, then lighten the overall shade, then allow a few silver pieces to show. This gentle approach keeps your look elegant at every step. The benefit is emotional freedom. Whether you cover or embrace your gray, you feel in control, confident, and beautiful in your own way. With that, you are ready for the final message. Thanks for watching till the end. If this video helped, give it a like and subscribe for more ways to look and feel amazing after 60. You are a queen, keep shining, and check out our next video for even more inspiration.